All right, welcome back to another podcast. I had no idea, presented by Landlocked Entertainment. Today I am joined with the one and only Jadyn. This is a guy I've known since high school and just a super dope just supporter for anything I've ever done. And as I've recently moved to Kansas City, he's been someone who's just been popping up in my life a lot. And I think that's just the universe saying, that let's connect. So here we are, rekindling. Keep running into him at the most random places and times, and yeah. So bro, thank you so much for coming on. This is You're the first guy guest, so congratulations.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I think you really show a lot of love and support to just anyone you come in contact with, and I think it's very genuine. So it's exciting to have you on. I feel like this is the fifth time I've had you on because this is the fifth attempt. But you know what?
They sure knew me, baby.
We keep rocking and rolling. So, yeah, bro. To start, let's we met, and we've known each other, and with kind of growing up, with the recent loss of my homie James, I know you kind of had some questions about that stuff. So I don't know if there's anything particular. He was starting kind of just because, which was a message and a brand. I don't really know exactly the direction he wanted to go, but basically, um, right before he passed, his parents got him a shirt that said kind of just because, and it was that color, that kind of tealish color. So um, yeah, bro. I know you're not super familiar with like the situation or anything, so I thought I'd just open the floor and start with that.
Yeah. Given the situation necessarily, I want to follow up about how it happened and learn more about the details, to be honest with you.
Yeah. In short, basically, there was fentanyl in a drug that he had taken, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. I want to say December 26th, so the day after Christmas. Um, and
So
it was just something where, if someone had been there or if someone was around him, there's this thing called Narcan, which is a spray mist that I always have around with me now, and it's also free. So I think I think hospitals and online you can order it and stuff. So it's really important, I think, and I try to spread awareness and show people what it looks like and stuff. So basically, that could have saved his life. I think it's just like if you overdose or something. I don't really understand how fentanyl works, but I know if you have too much or if something's laced with it, it's very deadly. So basically, bro, his mom felt like something was wrong, and she pulled out to his place, and I think she had a key, so he wasn't answering or anything, and she walked in and she saw him, um, deceased, I guess is the word. So that's kind of just the gist of it.
And that is just the worst thing you could only imagine to wake up on a day after Christmas, right? And to think about the years spent with your child until that specific moment is just so heartbreaking. And I could only imagine. I wish I don't ever have to imagine how that feels. Especially you being his homie. I want to know how necessarily your guys' relationship was and what was that relationship like kind of leading up to that point.
Yeah, I'll be honest. James and I were very similar personality wise, and the personalities that we have don't necessarily we butt heads a lot.
Sure.
And we grew up together. Long story short, he transferred and he was at Schwegler, fifth grade year, and then we became homies and we really grew up together. We were with each other basically every day, and then we got to go to South together. We were going to the dances and everything. We were doing South singers and stuff. So for those first forming couple of years of friendship, I'd say good until we got to high school. It was really really good, and we went to church camps together. Those were crazy, bro.
For
I
sure.
mean, dog. Let me tell you,
Church camp.
bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the craziest things, dog. And James always hated this. The first year we went, there was he so before about sixth, seventh grade, he wanted to change his style. He wanted to talk to girls, and
Sure.
and he sought me out. He was like, "Yo, I want you to like help."
Sure.
And this was also like his Justin Bieber era. So he
Yeah.
grew out the hair, he had the bangs, he got the pink or purple shoes, he got the skinny jeans,
Yeah.
and it was going crazy, bro. And this is before he kind of blew up on Facebook.
Sure.
So it was, we were kind of like getting him in the routine, and I was, having him, work on his game, and it was dope. It was kind of like my Padawan,
Yeah.
and it was special for me because I was like, no one else had really cared. And
Sure.
I grew up, with all girls. I had two cousins and a sister who was always around, so I was always just comfortable
Yeah.
around, girls. So as when you're younger, it was guys were afraid to talk to girls were afraid to talk to guys, they'd be
Sure.
mean to each other. But for me, I just, had it was just normal for me.
Play
And
it, play it, actually.
yeah, I mean, like, game knows game. And I was we were at this camp, and the priest or whatever was like, I had raised my hand for something,
Sure.
and he had said, "Oh, what's your name?" And in that moment, I'd made this joke early in the day that I was like the Asian ninja or something. And then, bro, I had said it, bro. I kid you not. I was standing up in front of, probably 200-300 people,
Yeah.
and a lot of them were girls. And I said it, bro. And like these girls were like cheering and standing up and like clapping, and a lot of them didn't know me. And I remember James was so mad when we got back to our cabin. He was like, "Nico, I told you not to do that. Like, why would you do that? You knew you were gonna get applause or something." I said, "No, bro, I didn't know I was gonna get applause like that."
Yeah.
So then that next year we went back, and then that's when he completely changed. So then, bro, we were running game. It was basically, bro, like we weren't going there to be learning the Bible or we
And
were
I
going there,
understand
bro,
that,
because the girls were, bro, I don't know what, I don't know why or what happened, but that
yeah.
that that summer changed our
The
lives.
church camp.
Yeah, and they we should not have been going. And it was, in the moment, it was a lot of drama. That's when a lot of conflict started because, then it was, oh, I want that girl, I want that girl, and we had a big fight at the end. And I remember my mom picked me up. She's like, "How was it?" And I was like, "Oh, me and James fought the whole time," but you know, yes, we fought, but when we weren't fighting, dog, it was insane. So,
That's
um, yeah, some of my favorite memories are with this guy. And so then after that, things changed, and then, honestly, once more, girls were a big thing in our life, and it was a big. We had a lot of fights over it. And then when drugs kind of came into play with his life, it definitely made me, take a step back. When he got in trouble, I think it was our freshman year, and he was out of school for like a year. That was a big thing,
Mhm.
because my brother had a lot of, um, drug usage too, so that really kind of hit hard, because he had, always struggled with that. And then I saw similarities in that. And then we were always in interest in the same thing. So we were always in choir in certain classes together. So that was always fun. And then, yeah, I think just a lot of life choices that he wanted to make, I just couldn't be around. It was just too hard for me.
That's understandable.
And then, after after high school, it was still kind of rocky, but it's always love at the end of the day. Always loved him, always supported him. And it was hard for me because no one around him that were his friend would tell him like to chill out or not to do it, and I was the only one. So like
Maybe
to
more
me,
aware
bro,
of what he was doing and stuff like that. Understandable.
yeah, to me that's true love. To just look at someone in your life that you care about, and you don't want to have those conversations. You don't want to be uncomfortable, but I knew that, I if I was in that position, I would want someone to call me out. And it was just difficult, and a lot of the times he would end up lying to me, and I just didn't appreciate that. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in any way. I'm very
Yes.
flawed, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I probably did a lot of things that he didn't like or didn't enjoy or didn't appreciate. So, it goes both ways. And, towards the end, though, it was really beautiful because we hadn't seen each other for a while, and then some other stuff happened in his life. So I would check in when I would come back into town because I wasn't in Lawrence anymore. And then the last probably few months of his life, we had actually rekindled, and we were talking. We would call. It was really, really nice. And he had made a trip to Tijuana, Mexico,
Yeah.
and on the way back, I was like, "Yo, bro, like, pull up, come through," because I was in Colorado, and he was driving through, I think, but there was a big storm happening, so his dad was like, just play it safe. And then I was supposed to see him when I was back in town for Christmas break, and then another event of his that was very, big to him happened, and he just kind of wasn't able to meet. So towards the end, we really had a really nice rekindling. He was a lot more open and honest with me. So, as much as people probably think and perceived that it was always great and always good, because we always care about making people feel good and like
Yep.
making sure they're checking in. But yeah, I mean, just to be real, it was a hard relationship. There was definitely a lot of love for each other and respect, but he got frustrated at me a lot, which I understand.
Sure,
I got
sure,
frustrated at him a lot. So
sure.
yeah, that's just that was our relationship.
Man, and honestly, God bless him, and God bless the memories that you guys had created. Um, in life, sometimes all of our friends, we don't always agree, and that's okay. I think it's like the misconception of if you guys don't have like the same hobbies or the same little niche things that you guys can't get along and be best friends. Sometimes it is true that opposites do attract each other. I got friends that aren't even close to anything like me, and they're very intelligent and have different hobbies and stuff like that. But I still have the love and the respect. It seems like you were giving him as well.
Yeah. I think another big thing too that was really important is that um we were very open and honest with each other. We were very vulnerable with each other. We knew what kind of ticked each other off, so sometimes we'd even poke at that. And it was really much more of like a brotherhood, and something that I think about a lot on how, you know, when our mental health kind of goes down, especially at that age of being, a young man, like starting to become a young adult. It's very prominent when it's not apparent that it's taken serious,
Sure.
And I think the two of us would check in and would make sure that at least, even if we were mad, even if we were in a fight or argument, that like we had each other's back and that they were doing okay outside of our own feelings.
Yeah, a young man's mental health today is just, it could be up, it could be down. Homie could be living his best life. Homie could be living his worst life. And as a man, I feel like it is very common for us to just kind of put up that blinder in a sense. Um, and a lot of my good relationships, there's a lot of times that, I seek either their help or sometimes they seek my help just because I try to act like I know what I'm talking about from time to time. But all you can really do in any situation is to just be the best friend you can be, and that's as I referenced the Tracy Lawrence song that you find out who your real friends are. If anyone's in need or even if you're the one in need, you want to be there for the person that would almost be there for you automatically.
Yeah.
Um, you just want to hold good relationships in life, and men's mental health definitely needs to be more talked about.
Mhm. Yeah, is there a time in your life where your mental health was down and you felt like you needed extra support, or you wanted to go reach out to others or find maybe a counselor, and can you touch on a time where you didn't know if you were going to make it through, you didn't know if you had the strength, and then how you powered through, or how you got to where you are now?
Yeah. Oh man. If only I could write a whole book, right?
Yeah,
So,
you should.
I know I thought about it. I really did, which is nuts. I can't write a book.
You can
Uh,
do whatever you want.
that is true. Yeah, there really is. There is the past couple of years for me have been really on the ropes. It's been my lustful action, my thoughts of love that I guess at the time I didn't really understand.
Mhm.
I thought, when I found a beautiful woman like that trophy wife or
Mhm.
something that people usually reference, that I had it all and my happiness would have been fulfilled. That I was going to be happy. Um, and I really messed it up because my relationships with my friends and with her and even within myself, that's three different paths that I can only put so much energy into every single day. And I feel like I was putting so much into her that on like especially the weekends where I'm like, at that time Saturdays are for the boys. I'm 21 years old. Then I wanted to go hang out with my friends. That connection of I was giving her so much, and then almost in a sense like I went a different direction. I feel like had to upset my old partner, and then just throughout time really just hindered our relationship. And then next thing you know, I'm now in legal action and court stuff and all this stuff. That is not what you want to be in. You do not want to be in anything of the court system. It's not good. It's not. You're not a bad person if you end up in it. It happens, but man, does it suck. Man, does it get expensive. It just is not what you should be doing. And on a second path of where you think you would learn and stuff, me, I didn't. And it's not because I didn't try to learn. It's not because I didn't try to reflect. It's because I just went and I jumped into another relationship. Um, because again, I thought, maybe another one would make me happy or fill that little hole or that void that I felt like I was in need of. I thought explaining that old situation to my new partnership would be
Oh,
better.
oh.
But then when you really think about it, I guess it had given them the option to almost hold it over me in a sense, which
Mm.
really broke my heart looking back at it.
Yeah.
And almost the same stuff happened there with the court stuff. The accusations of domestic violence that I would never even support from the outside, especially when it's now incurring me. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I had to lawyer up and all this stuff and fight a fight that I was um, uh, innocent and necessarily I had to deal with all that. It's not pleasant, especially just trying to go to work every day and just live a peaceful life as anybody wants to do. But man, when they then at one point they had like almost came together on the same topic and they had became friends.
Oh no.
So it
Oh
is
no. I don't know
and
that.
then you run up and you're just you're hanging out with your friends, you're going out and stuff like that, and you run into them, and all they can do is just say hurtful things, and you can't respond to that because you have no voice. So these last 2 years, man, have been really some of the worst of my life. But to like look past that and look forward because today is a brand new day. Um, I do a lot of reflecting on those situations. I reach out to my family, friends. I've
Mm.
seeked a therapist at some points in time.
Nice.
Um, Man, all you can do is just keep on trucking at those stages. I was, you know, getting some exercise. I was really focused on, again, my growth that I thought I was going to be able to do after that first situation that
Mm-hmm.
guess I was. I guess for me, it takes real, true life lessons that I feel like I've learned now than I did. I guess in the first situation that had led into another that had led into just nothing but trouble. And it was so hard because I remember crying like it was yesterday. I remember like thinking this stuff will never end,
Mm-hmm.
and it finally did. And I am just like almost a reborn person. I feel
Yeah.
amazing.
That's awesome.
I think about it every day. I think about how they feel every day. Um, and if I could even reach out, which I don't think it's appropriate just because of the situations, I think about it all the time. I don't think it's appropriate to reach back out, but I still wish them nothing but success in life.
That's
That's all I
beautiful.
can do.
I think you had a great point. First, thank you for sharing. That's very, I'm very proud of you for getting over that. And I know recently, everything's settled, so you've been celebrating. So congratulations. You've been doing your thing, and yeah, I mean, it's really powerful to that story and what that shows on who you are, and they were trying to tear you down, and you really stood 10 toes down,
And
and
it really, yeah, like the old saying, the preying on my downfall
yeah.
was like, I didn't think that was actually like a real thing because why would you hate on somebody or want to see them in jail or want to see them like, when you think about like charges of the felony and misdemeanor, I don't have that, but
Mhm.
when you think about that stuff, like that is life changing to someone. Then you go into you can't get a job, you can't do a lot of opportunities just because you may have messed up uh, given once, and if you do mess up once, like people need to realize we have more than enough opportunities in this world to not have to have them feel like it's over. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
So
I mean, dude, I've been there. I've been lost in the sauce. The lust is crazy. The worst decisions I've ever made have been emotional. While I'm emotional, so like really having to have that mental toughness and just working on it and just sharpening that tool every day because every day you have to use it and it gets dull. So just having to keep um, refreshing it and keeping it sharp is super important.
yes,
And I think you definitely can relate to that and definitely I don't know why the universe sent you that test, but I think it's important and I think it's definitely going to help you later in life and with your current relationships and
yeah.
things family. So
We are engaged now.
yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
congratulations
Thank you.
and
Thank
what
you.
you
Yes,
know
man. It's a difference. It's a everything I wanted as a child. Of you get to come home to someone who's loving and caring and very supportive. That
mm,
whole feeling is different than
mm,
even where we're at now, just in the dating world of um, with the apps and stuff like that. I can only pray and hope that everybody can find their person and that love. Um, like man, again, I'm more than thankful. I never thought after those events it would ever happen, and you could almost imagine why it would be even hard to really open up into another situation given the risk of
be that vulnerable.
I don't want to go back and be in trouble. I don't want to
Yeah.
go back and break your heart, or be just have someone really not like you in this world. That's not what I'm about. I don't like the feeling. I don't like thinking about it. I just want to be loving and supportive of everybody. And again, even in those specific situations, I still pray that they are doing really well.
Yeah. I think that's an amazing point in your life that you're at, that you're able to still have love for them, even though they were so harsh and um, so mean. I think that's a great test of where you're at in your life mentally and emotionally. That there's a lot of people that never get to that point, and I think it's really making sure that you lead with love first, and I think only positive things come from that, and I think people should do that more often. And I think America has a lack of that because in Asia, I've been fortunate enough to travel to Japan and Korea. They're the way they live is so put others first. I mean, when people pass out on or they're like dehydrated, it's people put water around them.
Yeah.
When people go on the trains and the subways, if it's an older person, they get up, they offer them the seat. If
Yes.
someone's a woman, if someone's pregnant, if it's a child, and it was so prominent to me that they led with love first, and how far that goes, and how respectful and how um, clean they keep things, and how it's just it's insane to think that that can occur.
We can completely change the narrative. We don't need to be haters in this
Yeah.
world. We can be lovers. If we need to be fighters, I 100% we can be fighters. Every day is a fight necessarily.
Mhm.
Given career, given the struggles of life, I know that um, when we really want to think about how can we help, um, I think transition into a better way of helping out the homies trying to find their dream girl. I recommend not going on Tinder or the
Mhm.
dating apps. I recommend just saying hello at a grocery store. um you know you try to you kind of try to imagine that when you approach that, yes, it is the most beautiful woman you ever seen,
Mhm.
but it could potentially just be a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I just going off that, the one of my favorite YouTubers, the minorities, Zeb had said something which, once he had said this, bro, it really changed the game for me. And I really try to tell other guys who kind of might have questions or struggle talking to girls, approaching women. And he was just saying, you don't go into it thinking and having all this pressure. You just go, you see a girl, you go up and hey, um, you say, "Hey, you think of them as a friend or just as another homie,
Really?
and then you have normal conversation.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get a girl snap right away, it could be, "Yo, are you making something?" Or "Yo, you got like a secret recipe?"
How much is that lettuce? How much is that lettuce?
is is that a apple? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
changes. It just changes the whole game, man. And do you think? I know you're engaged now, and congratulations again. Do
Thank
you
you.
do you think the dating when you were in that scene, do you think it's changed a lot? Do you think it's a lot harder with social media, with OnlyFans, with just the place that we're at in the world?
Man, yeah, I think the OnlyFans is taking over. No, um, I mean, man, you fall into, I think, just the society norms of still being on the dating apps and just seeing where, um, the hookup culture is actually at right now. I think definitely with all the people that you see get all these chicks laid, they are now either super single or just, I think they almost have no hope in themselves, which is really sad to see. Um, Given like everybody's focused on the body counts and stuff like that. Like, why do men judge a woman on her body count? Why do women judge men on their body counts? Instead of just, if that's the person you can really find enjoyment, hobbies, and just love being around, and just be happy.
There's a saying, I think it was an actor that said this. I don't really remember, so don't come after me too bad. But it's
Fact checker.
it's women. It's oh my gosh, it's men like physical, so women wear makeup, and men lie because women like to hear what they want to hear. It's something like that.
But you would necessarily see what that really represents and means in today's society, because that's true,
Yeah.
right? That is a very factual statement. I think definitely a lot of men will say things just to have a woman, you know, take the shirt off,
Yeah.
just whatever,
Get their attention.
get your
Get
attention.
them invested.
But what are your thoughts on like women doing that to men even more nowadays as well? Just with like how the difference of, as a woman, it's a lot easier to attract a man than it is for a man, obviously, to attract a woman. Especially when we think about monetization of, again, like their OnlyFans, when you're seeing on Instagram, these solicit pics
Mm-hmm.
of, they're only trying to just get their attention just so they can actually make a quick dollar.
Okay, so you're asking about my opinion on how women are doing more of.
I would say more of just like trying to support their own business, or they know that sex sales.
Mhm.
So like, what are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on that? I mean, is it like a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it gonna really mess us up the next several years? I mean,
I mean, like this is the thing I think a lot about. I watch interviews about people who are in the scene and who do OnlyFans and stuff, and they'll like to say, I don't plan on doing it forever and all of this and that. And my concern is, why be in something that you're not gonna want your kids to know about, or to like if you're gonna be ashamed about, or if you don't want to tell your parents about, you know, if you want to do whatever you want to do, live your life. If it makes you happy, it makes you happy. If you get enjoyment, whatever, you get paid, go get your bag, do what you gotta do. But at the end of the day, like in your core beliefs, in your core heart, if you're gonna be ashamed, and like it's also you got to think about too, if you have a kid and then the kid might grow up and be, oh, your mom does OnlyFans, or like, oh, your
I've
mom
seen
home? I
your
want to come
mother
over.
stalkers.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
and that's
which
gonna
is
be hard,
nuts, dude.
and that's gonna be rough.
That would not be my
That would be
kid.
a lot of bullying
Yeah,
that's gonna probably happen, in the next, what, 10 years of these kids are gonna be
yeah,
like getting, and I don't know, man. It's just kind of a weird time. It's a weird, I don't think it's great because I think it's really pushing more of the normalization of pornography, and I think it's making everything more explicit, and I think it's making everyone's brains just switch and change. And even with social media, you have little kids on there, and they could be scrolling, or they could be doing something, and the
yeah,
next thing you know, they could be looking at soft porn, or they could have, and that's a hard thing too with it. It makes our expectations thrown out the window because on social media you could see, you could go to your store and see maybe an attractive girl that is like, oh, that's the hottest girl I've ever seen.
yeah.
You
Sure.
go on social media, bro, it's flooded with it. But that's not real
Flooded.
life. That's not
Yeah.
the reality. That's everyone in the world. And yeah, man, yeah. So to kind of answer your question, I don't know. I just think about the long term.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it might be a great way to get income right now. It might give them fulfillment. It might give them the attention they want. But are they really going to be happy? Are they really going to be when they become and have a family, or when they want to do a different career, they might ask, what have you done the past 10 years? And instead of them saying, oh, I've gotten experience doing X, Y, and Z, they're gonna have to say, I did content, or I did social media stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and they're just gonna have to live with that. And again, if that's how you make your income, there's nothing wrong with how you are going to pay your bills. Obviously, given the economy state, it's a little bit harder right now to be able to even afford gasoline, even though it's going down. I will say that, but I got it for like 2.99 right now, so I'm happy. Right, I'll take
Yeah.
what I can get out here in the Midwest. But necessarily, I think just from the people associated in the business that are trying to turn that leaf and be putting that more on the awareness, and obviously the news outlets all about um, like the different aspects of it, the porn, the OnlyFans, because all I see it under a different light compared to the same umbrella. Uh, and I just hope that it just we can figure it out. I hope that personal interactions come back, and I hope that just these young men can find the partners that honestly everybody deserves to have someone nice that
Yeah.
cares and loves about them.
It worries me because I think kind of like gives people less hope, where they think, oh, every girl's doing this, or oh, every guy's trying to just get as many girls or as many bodies. And I think about too, of just, the the subject of like pornography and being addicted, and so many men and females, men and women, are doing it, and no one really talks about it. And I think it's important, as just young men, to just have those conversations with the friends, have the
Sometimes it's easy.
conversations with the family members. And you know if you have a homie or a friend who's doesn't really drink, and they start drinking, you'd reach out, you'd ask, you'd
Yeah.
check in. I think same thing, we just got to hold each other accountable, because I really do think it's something that's getting out of hand, and it's getting even more kind of pushed under the rug of, you know hey, my cousin, my homies, we all do it, we all it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
When I think it really does change and affect, and even change relationships. And then I think it can affect, and it really is ingrained. Because here's the thing too, bro, I know a lot of people who hide things from each other. And if someone vapes, if someone watches porn, if someone, and then the other person doesn't like that, and then they're hiding that, that's horrible for the relationship. So I just, yeah, it's hard, it's a
A
tough.
whole bunch of things,
Yeah.
man. It's a discussion that we could go on for absolutely ever about, and I think it is just again something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah. That will lead to better results. And if someone's, I always try to show that being sober is always an option. I always try to prove that. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing where it's, I've had my fair share of pornography. I have a very addictive personality. And I know it's hard to stop. I know it's hard. I know the temptations are there, with all of social medias and all of everything. And it's sad too, because I think there's a lot of lonely people, and I think it gives them a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching this podcast, and this guy was saying, I think he was a some kind of psychologist or something, I don't know.
Sure. Sure.
But he was basically saying how, watching other people have intercourse, have sex, and getting aroused by that is alarming, because it's not normal. It's not something that's in our human nature. But then our brain gets rewired, and then it's, to me, I'm almost like, hey, yo, if I'm watching a dude have intercourse with a girl, it's kind of gay. You know what I mean? Like, hold on now. Like, I don't want to like that's not it. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Super. I mean, if you put it
Hot
in
take.
that kind of look,
Hot
it is
take.
a hot take. It's a hot take that needed to be said. Uh, yeah, I think I had definitely, obviously, watched my fair share of porn as well. Um, we're trying to lay off. I have a fiance now, so it's kind of a nice mix of a partnership, but I think it's necessarily something that definitely needs to be considered when watching porn. Is, dude, I'm gonna see another ball sack. Like, I
Bro,
don't,
I'm gonna see a naked dude.
I don't know, I don't know. I would prefer to just see the woman, obviously,
Yeah, give her the
but
attention.
why? Why are we so aroused by that, comparatively to just being aroused by our partners?
Too, like a lot of the energy, instead of getting put into porn, could get put into your significant other could get into creating healthier lifestyles, could get into 30 minutes of working out, or it's so much that I think it can be really redirected. I think a big thing for me was, it would be when I was bored, it would be when I was tired, depressed, sad. So I think trying to build healthy lifestyles and healthy habits is one of the best ways that I kind of got out of that routine, and really just holding myself accountable. Of I don't, if I choose to have kids one day, and I can fully say, hey, I had a college experience and I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs, and I want to say the same thing with like pornography. I had a hard time with it, but I overcame it. You know what I mean? And I want to just kind of lead by example, and just also just be someone who can say, I know everyone I know in my life basically either smokes or drinks or does some kind of drug, which is fine. That's totally fine. Do what you gotta do what you want to do. If you're happy, you're happy. But there's not a lot of people who are just sober, and there are a lot of people who are, but they who probably would, but they don't know or see anyone that actually lives that out. So I just want to be someone who can, be like, hey, life's hard. I know it is. When I'm sad, I want to be sad. When I'm happy, I want to be happy.
Yeah.
When I'm depressed, I want to be depressed. I don't want anything to make me feel that way or incite that, or you know those are my emotions. I want to feel them fully. I love this life. I'm in love with life. It's a blessing to be here. I'm not supposed to be here.
It's a blessing to have you here. Every
Appreciate
day
you.
it is, man.
um my birth parents, um I'm adopted. I'm from Korea, and in that culture, it's very much so where if you're not married, you kind of cancel and you get rid of it. And my birth mom was, like, no, forget that. I'm gonna birth this child and then put up for adoptions and give a better life. So, every day I think about I'm not supposed to be here. It's like one in a trillion or something possibility that we get to live life and we get to be a human. So
Yeah.
every day, bro, I think that it's truly a blessing, and I try to make the most of it. So
Man, I love obviously hearing your stories and your success, and I only pray on the success of the business stuff we got moving forward.
thank you.
Tell me a little bit more about that real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Let's see. I did 9 to 5, which is draining, taxing,
Understandable.
and trying to get out of the rat race. So I have the YouTube and the TikTok, the social medias, which is Landlock Entertainment. I've been really pushing. I do 4 to 5 reels, shorts a day, and then I also have doing other content. I started this podcast. I love food, especially barbecue and pho, which is
Nice.
I got a pho tattoo.
Love
Favorite
it.
food. I mean that's almost a drug to me. I feel
Yeah.
enlightened when I eat that. If I'm happy, sad, celebrating, I'm eating pho. So I want to just share my love for that. So I'm doing those videos, and then I have Landlocked Thrift, which is I do pop ups, I do Depop, I do different little events, and
Yeah.
this guy supported. I told you he's
Yeah,
always
I had
supporting.
to. I've been waiting for this moment the whole conversation. I am wearing the shirt that I just picked up. You see the cool lavender
The
color,
back's
so
cool
we're going to
too.
be flexing it. Oh, check me.
Hey.
Oh, butt action. so, but man, just your businesses, everything you got going. Obviously, again, like everybody else, the 9 to 5 is something that the money rules the world. We're not in the position of always going to be the most powerful, especially being the minority. It's always going to be a little bit more of an extra step that we're going to have to take to want to find that success.
Yeah.
And that success is going to be indifferent for everybody. Money again does rule the world, but money doesn't always bring everybody happiness. I think for me, at least, a nice lawn chair, a nice beach. I think the girl by my side, I would be very at peace. And I think whatever you do and whatever you want to do, you can do it and you can accomplish it.
Appreciate that, bro. Same goes for you. You've always been a go getter. I've always seen that. I've always loved seeing when other people have that drive in them. And yeah, I tell people all the time, bro. Like, whenever the money comes, I'm gonna be the same person, except I'm gonna be eating more pho.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be giving way more money,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be my car's a Genesis coupe. Yeah. I want 7 of them. So I'm gonna have 7 Genesis coupes. I mean,
Yeah.
really, like, I don't think my life is not gonna be different, except for the fact that I get to eat more pho.
There we go.
And I get to do what I want to do, which is more often.
I love it.
So, bro, thank you so much. It's been an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure. Thank
Really
you for being so
appreciate it.
open and honest. I can't wait for the future ones. I know we're gonna probably hop on a lot more together, and I know we're gonna run into each other a lot more. So
Yeah.
it's
Make sure to
exciting.
catch me out, man. I'll be out and about, and if you ever do, man, we'd love to, give you a shout out too, and we'd just love to. I don't know. I'm not buying you a drink. You buy me a drink.
Hey, if you see this guy out, ask him to do a backflip. This guy is super athletic. Ever since I met him, he's been doing flips. He's been going crazy. So
Rock on.
yeah, he's gonna teach me to do a backflip. I've always wanted to do a backflip. It's like one of the top things on my bucket list. So
And we're definitely going to get him in the gym, right? We want to make sure he's safe, but we're going to get him able to do a backflip within the next 6 months, and you can take my word for it.
you heard it here first. 6 months. Okay, in 6 months, what month's that gonna be?
I don't know. 6 months from right now.
February. Yeah,
February.
my birthday's in end of January, so
Which is really
but
not that bad, especially in the winter months. It's going to be inside a warm, conditioned gym. We can do it.
get it.
We can do it.
Thank you guys for watching.
We can do it.
You have any closing remarks you want to say?
Man, just this is really fun, man, and having good conversation like we're doing, hitting these subjects that really do matter,
Yeah.
Not just to us, but probably to a lot of people,
Yeah.
and just the relationships of, granted, in high school were we best friends? No, but look where we are today,
Yeah.
and I think if you can retain those relationships moving forward with anybody that necessarily believes in you, and even if they don't even like you, I think just being kind goes a long way.
Kind of just because.
All love.
Thank y'all for watching. If you guys have anything you ever want me to ask or any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. This was an awesome episode. It was the fourth one, fifth one. So I hope you guys liked it. So it's midnight. We've been going at it for a minute. All right. Peace and love, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Call that a wrap. That was dope. Finally.